Ah, look who's still breathing. Look who's still standing. Look who they said would be a statistic by now. A cautionary tale, a broken thing collecting dust in the back of someone's memory. But here you are, awake, aware, and somehow stronger than the thing that was supposed to end you. Welcome back, you beautiful, terrifying anomaly. Welcome back, you walking impossibility. Or should I say, welcome to the other side. Because anyone still watching this, anyone who made it past that first line, you already know what I'm about to say. You're not supposed to be here. The math didn't add up. The psychology textbooks said you'd crumble. The therapists whispered behind closed doors that your case was unrecoverable. And yet, here you stand, scrolling through this video at 2 a.m., feeling something you can't quite name, wondering if someone finally sees what you've become. Let me be the first to confirm it. Yes, I see you. And what I see isn't human anymore. It's something else, something they can't explain. Let's rewind the tape a little, shall we? Let's go back to that moment, that day, that soul-crushing, reality-bending event that should have been your ending. You remember it, don't you? The betrayal that rewrote your entire understanding of love. The loss that shattered every belief you had about fairness. The abandonment that proved loyalty was just a word people threw around until it cost them something. The violence, the sickness, the collapse, the darkness so deep you couldn't even see your own hands in front of your face. That moment that was supposed to be the kill shot. The psychologists had a name for what you went through. They called it complex trauma, chronic stress disorder, PTSD, dissociation, emotional annihilation, total systemic collapse. They had graphs and charts and studies showing exactly what happens to the human brain under that level of pressure. Spoiler alert, it breaks, it fractures. It rewires itself into something unrecognizable, something that can't trust, can't love, can't function, can't survive. The data was clear. The survival rate, grim. The prognosis? A lifetime of medication, therapy, triggers, flashbacks, and that hollow look in your eyes that everyone recognizes but no one knows how to fix. And you were textbook at first, weren't you? You felt it happening, the numbness creeping in like frost on a window, the way your chest would tighten for no reason, the way you stopped sleeping, stopped eating, stopped caring if the sun came up or not. You watched yourself disappear in real time, piece by piece, smile by smile, until you were just a shell going through the motions, saying I'm fine while your soul was screaming in a language no one spoke. They said you'd need years to recover, if you ever did. They said you'd carry this wound forever, that it would define you, limit you, haunt you every single day for the rest of your short, sad, predictable life. They said trauma this deep doesn't just scar, it consumes, it becomes you. And for a while, you believed them. You wore that diagnosis like a sentence. You accepted that this was your new normal, broken, damaged, too far gone. But then, something shifted. Something in the core of you refused to accept the narrative. Something ancient, something primal, something that predates therapy and textbooks and every comfortable little lie they told you about what you could or couldn't survive. You started noticing things, small things at first. The way you didn't flinch anymore when someone raised their voice. The way betrayal stopped surprising you because you'd already seen the worst of humanity and survived it. The way pain became just background noise. A constant hum you learned to live with, like the sound of your own heartbeat. You weren't healing the way they said you would. You weren't getting better in any traditional sense. You were doing something else, something they didn't have a word for. You were adapting, evolving, becoming something the trauma couldn't touch anymore because you'd already died once, and anything that tried to kill you after that was just late. You started walking through situations that would destroy normal people, and you barely blinked. Arguments that would send others spiraling. You observed them like you were watching a rerun of a show you'd already seen. losses that would cripple someone else. You absorbed them, processed them, and kept moving like a machine that doesn't require rest. People started noticing you were different. They couldn't put their finger on it, but something about you made them uncomfortable. You were too calm, too still, too unbothered. And that's when they started whispering. That's when the psychologists started scratching their heads. Because you weren't following the script. You weren't spiraling. You weren't self-destructing. You were thriving. Here's what they don't tell you in those trauma recovery seminars. Here's what the self-help books conveniently leave out. Here's the truth that makes therapists shift uncomfortably in their chairs when you bring it up. Trauma, real trauma, the kind that's supposed to break you, doesn't always break you. Sometimes, if you're built a certain way, if you have that specific combination of stubbornness, spite, and survival instinct coursing through your veins, trauma doesn't destroy you. It reconstructs you. It takes everything soft, everything naive, everything trusting and hopeful and innocent, and it burns it away like dead wood in a forest fire. And what's left, standing in the ashes? Something fireproof, something that can't be burned twice, something that learned the rules of pain and decided to rewrite them. You didn't just survive your trauma, you consumed it. You broke it down, studied it, absorbed its lessons, and integrated it into your operating system like a software update from the underworld itself. Let me paint you a picture of what happened to you on a neurological level, because this is where it gets wild. When a normal person experiences severe trauma, their amygdala, the fear center of the brain, goes into overdrive. It starts seeing threats everywhere. It keeps them in a constant state of hypervigilance, anxiety, paranoia. That's PTSD. That's the textbook response. But your brain did something else entirely. Instead of getting stuck in fear mode, your amygdala learned. It cataloged every possible threat, every pattern of betrayal, every warning sign, and it created a database so sophisticated that you can now spot danger before it even fully forms. You don't get triggered anymore. You get prepared. Your nervous system didn't break under the pressure. It evolved. It learned to operate in conditions that would fry someone else's circuits. You developed a pain tolerance so high that normal discomfort doesn't even register. You built emotional scar tissue so thick that the things that used to hurt you now bounce off like rain on stone. And here's the kicker. Your brain started producing different chemicals. Where most trauma survivors get flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, you started producing something else. A cold, steady focus, a ruthless clarity. An ability to function in chaos that borders on supernatural. Psychologists call it post-traumatic growth, but that term doesn't even come close to describing what you became. You know what's really messing with their heads? You're not just surviving, you're excelling. You're outperforming people who never went through what you did. People who had safe childhoods, stable families, consistent love and support. They're falling apart over minor inconveniences while you're building empires on the ruins of your past. They crack under pressure while you sharpen under it. They need therapy for a bad breakup while you're casually processing generational trauma like it's a morning crossword puzzle, and they can't stand it. They can't comprehend how someone who should be a victim is instead becoming a force. How someone who should be in a hospital bed is instead running laps around them. It breaks their entire understanding of how trauma works, how healing works, how human resilience works. Because in their world, trauma makes you weaker. In their world, pain is supposed to slow you down, make you dependent, keep you small and manageable and predictable. But you took that pain and turned it into fuel. You took that darkness and learned to see in it. You took everything that was meant to end you and used it as the foundation for something they never saw coming. You became immortal, not in the physical sense, but in every way that actually matters. Let's talk about what immortality actually means. Because we're not talking about living forever. We're talking about something far more terrifying. We're talking about becoming unkillable in the ways that matter, becoming immune to the psychological warfare that destroys normal people, becoming untouchable by the emotional weapons that used to bring you to your knees. You can't be gaslit anymore because you've already questioned every reality you thought was solid and rebuilt your truth from scratch. You can't be manipulated anymore because you've seen every trick, every tactic, every smooth-talking liar's playbook, and you're fluent in the language of deception now. You can't be abandoned anymore because you've already survived the worst abandonment imaginable and learned that you don't need anyone to complete you. You're complete. You're whole. You're a closed circuit that doesn't require external validation to function. That's immortality. That's the thing they can't kill. They can take your money, your relationships, your reputation, your sense of safety, and you'll just rebuild. They can isolate you, betray you, sabotage you, slander you, and you'll just adapt. You've already died in every way that matters. You've already walked through the valley of the shadow and realized it was just a valley, just geography, just another place you had to pass through to get to where you're going. And once you've died and come back, once you've touched that void and returned, nothing in this world can threaten you the same way again. You want to know why psychologists are baffled? It's because their models don't account for you. Their research is based on average people experiencing average trauma under average conditions. But you weren't average. Your trauma wasn't average. And the way you responded? That was so far outside the bell curve, it broke the chart. They study resilience, sure. They talk about people who bounce back, who heal, who overcome. But that's not what you did. You didn't bounce back. You didn't return to who you were before. That person died. They're gone. They're never coming back. And good riddance, because they were weak. They were naive. They believed in fairness and justice, and the idea that good people get rewarded and bad people get punished. That person wouldn't have survived what you survived, so you killed them, you let them die, and you built something new in their place. Something harder, something colder, something that doesn't hope, it calculates. Something that doesn't trust, it verifies. Something that doesn't love recklessly. It loves strategically, carefully, with one eye always on the exit because you learned that exit signs exist for a reason. This new version of you scares people. They can't read you anymore. They can't predict you. They can't use the old tricks that used to work. You're operating on a different frequency now, seeing patterns they can't see, thinking in ways they can't follow, and that makes you dangerous. Not dangerous like a criminal. Dangerous like a storm, like an earthquake, like a force of nature that doesn't care about their rules, their expectations, their comfort zones. You just are, and they have to deal with it. Let me tell you what's happening in the psychology community right now, behind closed doors, in conferences you're not invited to. They're studying you, people like you, the ones who weren't supposed to make it, the ones who broke every statistical model, the ones who turned trauma into something that looks suspiciously like a superpower. There are papers being written, studies being conducted, researchers scratching their heads trying to figure out what makes you different. Why did you thrive when others crumbled? What's in your genetic code, your brain chemistry, your early childhood experiences that gave you this ability to transform poison into medicine? And you know what they're finding? Nothing. Nothing consistent. Nothing they can point to and say, there it is. That's the resilience gene. That's the trauma-resistant personality type. That's the thing that makes them special. Because it's not one thing, it's 1,000 things. It's every time you had to choose between giving up and getting up. It's every night you cried yourself to sleep and still woke up the next morning. It's every betrayal you processed, every loss you integrated, every moment of pain you refused to let define you. It's the accumulation of 1,000,000 micro-decisions to keep going when everything in you was screaming to stop. That's not genetics. That's not luck. That's not some mysterious X factor they can bottle and sell. That's pure, raw, unfiltered will. That's the decision to become immortal, because mortality was too boring, too predictable, too much like everyone else who let life break them. You decided you wouldn't be breakable. And the universe, for all its chaos and cruelty, respected that decision. Here's what the data actually shows when they're honest about it. Post-traumatic growth is real. It's documented. It's measurable. But what they don't want to admit is how extreme it can get. They talk about people becoming a little more resilient or finding new meaning after trauma, but they bury the outliers. They ignore the ones like you who don't just grow a little, who transform completely, who become something so far beyond their previous self that they might as well be a different species. There are studies showing that severe trauma can actually increase cognitive function in certain individuals. It forces the brain to create new neural pathways, to think in ways it never had to think before. Problem solving under extreme stress becomes second nature. Pattern recognition gets sharpened to an edge that can cut through deception like it's tissue paper. Emotional regulation gets so finely tuned that you can be in the middle of a crisis and still think clearly while everyone around you is losing their minds. They're finding that some trauma survivors develop what they call stress inoculation. You've been exposed to so much stress that normal stressors don't even activate your stress response anymore. Job interview, child's play, relationship conflict, barely registers. Financial crisis, you've survived worse with less. Public speaking, your hands don't even shake because you've faced audiences far more hostile than a room full of strangers. You've been forged in fire so hot that room temperature feels like a vacation. And they're measuring this, they're documenting it. They're publishing papers with titles like Exceptional Resilience, When Trauma Leads to Enhanced Functioning, and The Immortal Mind, Psychological Invulnerability in High Adversity Populations. But those papers don't make headlines. They don't fit the narrative. Society needs trauma survivors to be victims, to be broken, to need saving. Because if they admit that trauma can make you stronger, unstoppable, unkillable, what does that say about everyone who never faced real adversity? What does that say about all the people who crumbled under far less? You see it in your daily life, don't you? The way you handle things that send other people into panic attacks. The way you can sit in discomfort without needing to escape it. The way you can be alone without being lonely because you learned that being alone is safer than being with the wrong people. You've become fluent in pain. It's your second language. And just like any language, the more you speak it, the more natural it becomes. You can have a conversation about your trauma without crying, without flinching, without needing someone to hold your hand and tell you it'll be okay. You know it'll be okay because you've already survived the not okay. You've already walked through the worst case scenario and lived to tell the tale. That knowledge, that bone-deep certainty that you can handle whatever comes, that's the immortality. That's the thing they can't take from you. They can throw anything at you now. Any crisis, any betrayal, any loss, any pain. And somewhere deep in your core, there's a voice that whispers, I've survived worse. And it's not bravado. It's not false confidence. It's historical fact. You have survived worse. You have the receipts. You have the scars to prove it. And that makes you functionally immortal in the only arena that matters. The arena of the human experience. Remember when they told you not to become bitter? Remember when they said, don't let this change you. Don't let it make you hard. Don't close your heart. Don't build walls. Don't lose your ability to trust. Remember that advice? How did that work out for you? Oh, that's right. It didn't. Because that advice was given by people who never walked through what you walked through. That advice came from people whose worst trauma was a bad breakup, or a job loss, or some other first world problem that barely registers on the actual trauma scale. They warned you about becoming cold, becoming guarded, becoming the kind of person who doesn't let people in easily. They painted that transformation like it was a bad thing, like it was a failure, like it meant the trauma won. But here's what they didn't tell you: that transformation was necessary, that hardening was survival. Those walls you built, they're not prison walls, they're fortress walls. They're not keeping you trapped inside, they're keeping the predators outside. Every boundary you set, every person you cut off, every time you chose yourself over someone else's comfort, that wasn't you becoming a bad person. That was you becoming a smart person, a protected person, a person who learned that not everyone deserves access to you, that some people are energy vampires who will drain you dry if you let them, that your time, your peace, your mental health are more valuable than any relationship that requires you to betray yourself to maintain it. They call you cold now. They say you've changed. They miss the old you, the one who was available 24/7, the one who always gave second chances, the one who put everyone else's needs before their own. Of course they miss that version. That version was easy to use. That version was convenient. That version didn't know their own worth. But you're not that anymore, are you? You're this new thing, this upgraded model, this version that doesn't apologize for having standards, this version that doesn't explain their boundaries, just enforces them, this version that can look at manipulation and narcissism and toxicity and just walk away. No drama, no confrontation, no need to prove you're right. You just remove yourself from the equation and let them figure out their own lives without using you as a prop. And that calm dismissal, that unbothered exit, that's the power move they never taught you in therapy. Because therapy tries to help you forgive, understand, empathize. But you've done all that. You've forgiven people who never apologized. You've understood people who never tried to understand you. You've empathized with people who had zero empathy for you. And where did it get you? Used, drained, betrayed, so you stopped. You stopped giving out your energy like it was unlimited. You stopped treating your compassion like it was a renewable resource. You learned that you are, in fact, finite. Your patience has limits. Your forgiveness has conditions. Your love has requirements. And if people don't meet those requirements, they don't get access. Simple as that. No guilt, no second guessing, no, but what if they change? Because you've already seen what happens when you wait for people to change. They don't. They just get better at making excuses.